Welcome back to MMA Unhinged, and joining us today is Isaiah Metituk. Isaiah, um, how are you, and how are you feeling as you're preparing for not just a upcoming fight, but you also got a grappling match coming up as well?
Yeah, man. No, I'm feeling great. I've made a couple switches this camp. I've got my first jiu-jitsu match or jiu-jitsu tournament in 7 years. My first ever actual jiu-jitsu match. And then a couple weeks after that, I've got a big fight down in Oshawa. So we're kind of all systems go right now.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. And I know I saw recently that you had to celebrate your birthday now. You got to hit some pads. So how was that? And do you have any plans to have like kind of belated celebrations after the fight?
Maybe, man. Honestly, it's funny. Due to circumstances, like just where I was at the time, COVID, a couple other things, I've never actually gotten to go to after a pro fight and celebrate a win. So maybe that could be the plan after this fight. But right now, we're just kind of keeping our eyes on the task at hand and full steam ahead.
Yeah, and I saw your post. I really respected what you said. It's a very good attitude that you have as a pro fighter. That being said, before we go any further, thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So let's talk about fight camp. How's that? How's everything going? And I know that we're going to talk a little bit about in a bit of a opponent change, but how is fight camp going so far?
Really good, man. I made some changes this camp. I'm still working with Cole Smith, who's a really highly regarded UFC veteran, black belt, just all around super, super high level guy. Then this camp, I started going to On Guard Jiu Jitsu with Matt Kwan, which, in my opinion, is the best Jiu Jitsu in the Lower Mainland. And then, as you referenced earlier, I was working with Connor Gallagher at Pit Meadows Combat. He's my main pad man, striking coach right now. And then I've been going to Pinnacle MMA with Dennis Kang for sparring on Saturdays. So we've been getting a lot of good looks this camp for sure.
Well, so you talked about some changes that you made in camp. So these were the changes that you've made, or what specifically have you done, maybe to change your game a little bit and just improve?
I just started to venture out to different gyms. I added some different coaches, removed some gyms and coaches. A lot of it was kind of on the fly, right actually before I signed this fight, so it all timed out perfectly. But yeah, it's been great getting some different looks, some different adjustments to my game, and I'm really excited to show it come fight night.
Of course, awesome. And I was talking before about you having a grappling match on August 24th.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about like what prompted that decision, considering that you have a fight pretty much a month after that.
Yeah, they reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, we're throwing this jujitsu tournament together. We'd love for you to be a part of it. We want you to have a submission only match." I'm a big, obviously, if you look at my record, I'm a jujitsu guy.
Hmm.
I love watching jujitsu. Obviously, I love doing jujitsu, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And I haven't competed in jujitsu in over 7 years now. So when I got the chance, I jumped on it. I think it's almost a bit of a warm up for my fight, and I'm looking forward to getting to show a bit of a different skill set.
Yeah, and I mean that being said, is there any precautions that you're going to try to take to not potentially get injured during that match, or what's for people that don't know jujitsu or are just jujitsu only? What is like the likelihood of injuries, and what precautions do you take to ensure your safety?
I think jujitsu has gotten a little more dangerous in the last couple of years, just because everybody's so obsessed with leg locks and that whole game, which is a great game
Mhm.
and a great addition to jujitsu. But I mean, there is a reason, in a lot of traditional jujitsu tournaments, it's illegal until black belt to do heel hooks and any sort of twisting leg locks. Whereas now, I mean, you've got kids drilling them, which I think is great for the development of the sport. Why ignore half of the body? But it definitely has made jiu-jitsu a little more dangerous. So I think, just proper defense, knowing how to get out, knowing how to defend, I think that's huge. And besides that, I mean, really at the end of the day, it's just a hard roll. So there's nothing too crazy I'm worried about.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And like I said, a month later, then you'll pretty much have a fight on the horizon here. So,
Mhm.
previously we were talking about your upcoming fight, and you had some big news. So
Mhm.
I'm going to leave the floor to you, and you can have this announcement here?
All right. So yeah, at about 8:30 last night, my time last night, Woodrow James from BTC messaged me, and he just said, "Hey, bro." And as soon as you get a message from a promoter, it's an odd time. It's just a, "Hey, man." I don't think Woodrow James is messaging me to hang out, considering he's Ontario. So I knew something was up, and yeah, we found out Liam unfortunately broke his hand. So I hope he heals up quick, man. I got nothing against the guy. I got a lot of respect for him and his team, and that's a fight that has to and will happen down the line. But with that being said, Liam Gallagher is out, and I'm now fighting Noah Crosswell.
Oh wow. Well, congrats.
You heard it first.
That's gonna be a big fight. And he's been pretty active. So looking at this guy, like when they asked you to fight him, it was an instant yes, or
Yeah,
did you think about it? Yeah.
yeah. Well, me and Noah were actually supposed to fight back in 2022 for Front Row Fight Club or Tarps Off Entertainment, whatever they were called. They did one card. We were on the card. The card ended up actually getting canceled. So now we get to run it back again, and I think it's a great matchup. It's a great platform, and I'm really looking forward to getting a finish over Noah and starting a bit of a win streak.
Yeah, and you talked about yourself being you have a lot of skill in jiu-jitsu, and every opponent looks at that and knows how deadly you are on the ground. So when you've been preparing for every fight, every matchup, like what do you do to keep yourself I guess unpredictable?
I think honestly at this point it's just adding nuances. Like I have a style. I know what I'm good at. That doesn't mean that style is not always evolving. As you'll see against Noah, I've added a lot of new wrinkles to my jiu-jitsu, but especially with my striking, working with Conor Gallagher. I'm really excited to show off those new wrinkles, and I think on top of that, it's evolving, right? I mean, if you're staying stagnant, you're never evolving. Guys are gonna get a read on you. Guys are gonna know how to beat you. So you never want to go into a fight completely the same.
Hmm.
So I tend to look at fights in seasons, right? This fight, is the second fight of my season because I fought Jesse Bull earlier this year. So it's fight number one. This is fight number two. Ideally, I have fight number three this year, and then after that season, I take a couple months. I reevaluate. I figure out what I want to keep, what I want to add to my game, and take it from there.
Well, that's excellent to hear. And when you're gonna fight No Crosswell, I know you got the news last night. Have you had a chance to really get to watch some of his fights or get to know what he's all about? And what do you have prepared for a guy like Noah Crosswell?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been scheduled to fight him before, like I said. So me and Cole are definitely very, very familiar with his game, and even before that and after that, I knew we were gonna fight eventually. So I'm well acquainted with his game. I know what he's good at. I know where his weaknesses are, and I know my style, especially now. So, because even that last fight, I didn't really get to show any of these new wrinkles in my game. I mean, I defended a takedown, I got a guillotine, right? It's a good way to win a fight.
Mhm.
I didn't take any damage, but I didn't really get to show any of these new tools. So against Noah, I've got some pretty cool tools and some pretty cool stuff I'm going to show. It's going to be a good showcase. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I know that obviously you're confident in your skills on the ground, but would a knockout be nice just as a way to show the other side of Isaiah Metituk?
Oh, buddy, you don't know how. I think, man, maybe more so than like anything in my life, I want to knock out. Just to prove a point. Everybody knows I can grapple, but I don't think people realize that I'm a legitimate striker as well. And to get a knockout on my record, not only keep my finish streak going, but again show that new wrinkle, show that I have hands, I have Muay Thai, I have kickboxing. That would be a great feather in my cap, and it'll come. It'll come. I'm not gonna rush it. But one day in the next couple fights, there'll be a knockout on my record for sure.
Excellent. And that being said, so after this fight, I know that, like I said, you were supposed to have the fight with Liam Gallagher. So,
Mhm.
do you would it, if you get another fight this year or towards the end of the year, would you like to have that fight rebooked, or do you care?
Yeah, definitely. Liam actually reached out to me last night. said sorry for pulling out. He broke his hand. I mean, obviously you can't fault the guy for that, but like we both said, third time should be the charm, and before ideally before the end of the year, we got to run this fight. So I got to go handle business. No, with Noah first. By no means am I looking past him, regardless of his record or whatever my opinion towards him is. I have another man standing across from me that I have to beat. So go in there, take care of business with Noah, and hopefully the chips line up to where me and Liam can finally settle the score.
Excellent. And when do you plan on traveling down to Oshawa?
I fight on Saturday. I'd like to get there a couple days early, get acquainted. I mean, there's about a 3 hour time change, which isn't huge, but you'd be surprised how much that can play into things. So if I could get there Wednesday, Thursday, have a bit of time to relax, have a proper cut, we're golden.
Well, believe me, when we put the clocks back here in Ontario, everyone bitches about the 1 hour difference. So
Yeah.
it does not surprise me what you said. But that being said, so you coming, just had a couple more for you. So that being said, you coming from the jiu-jitsu background, what would you say is your favorite submission?
Front head work. If you look at my record, I mean, I try to keep some of my cards close to my chest, but it's no secret that when I get a hold of your neck, some bad things are gonna happen. I've over the years developed systems and techniques and understanding of that position specifically. So chokes are my thing, but specifically like Darce chokes, guillotines, anacondas. That's kind of my go-to.
Of course. And after this fight, I know you have a very good mindset, and I know you're much of a professional here. But obviously, we're all human. What would you like to eat after this fight?
Whew, that's a loaded question. I don't know. Honestly, it's bad, but I'm never really hungry after a fight. My adrenaline is just going so crazy. Like the next couple of days, I'll have a burger or, whatever. But after a fight, honestly, I just want to usually have a couple of beers and just kind of walk around. I'm too amped up to eat. I want to eat, and after a fight, it's always, oh, I'm gonna have a pizza, I'm gonna have some nachos, and then I end up having a couple handfuls, and I'm like, man, I just can't put this down.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, Isaiah, like I said, now that you got your hands full now with a new opponent, so I don't want to take more of your time. So I appreciate you again for you taking the time, Isaiah. It's a pleasure always having you on, talking with you for MMA Unhinged, and just good luck in September.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate the platform. This is going to be a great fight, a great showcase. I'm excited to get another win under my record, start a win streak, and open up some big doors. So let's go.
And anything else you want to say? That the floor is yours again.
Yeah, man. Thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This camp's been crazy, but I've always managed to keep my head on straight through it all. Shout out my team: On Guard BJJ, Pit Metals Combat, Roundhouse MMA, Pinnacle MMA, and September 14th, man. BTC Metituk versus Crosswell. Tune in. You're gonna see me get another finish on my record.